down,
Yo,
and then
and we're live,
just
guys. What's up, boys? What's up, Ace? What's up, Mr. Cold Blood
hey
Shit?
Bagsy, hey stream, welcome to Bagsy TV. This is the co-host Ace. Look at me, I'm doing an introduction.
I like
Bagsy,
it.
how do you like it?
That was great, man. Dude, you did better than me.
I feel as though that put like a lot of pressure on me to like live up to that. So I was like, shit, please don't pull me in for an intro like that.
Yeah, I
No.
would never call somebody else out.
I'm gonna,
But
I'm
I
gonna
put the
throw this
pressure
over
on
to
Bagsy.
Cold for his intro.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry.
Bag-
You're the guest tonight. You just lay back, relax. You know. But yeah, good stuff, man. How's the market been treating you, Cold? Or how have you been treating the
Yeah, good.
market?
Well, I mean, like having my still bearish bias has treated me pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the majority of my positions right now, apart from the tick scalping on Renko for BTC,
Mm-hmm.
like the majority of my positions are held up in the exchange tokens. That's where the majority of my longer term positions are currently being based. So everything's been good so far. We had a nice breakdown on those over the last 24 hours. So positions are comfortably in profit now. So
Interesting. So, if I'm not mistaken, you're playing with Huobi token, right?
yeah, well, actually, like so on FTX, I'm currently short BNB, Huobi token, OKB, and I'm also short on the exchange perp as well. So like maximum exposure, and just let me short everything.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Especially if
So we'll see how it
BTC keeps
goes.
going down.
Yeah, I think it's like it hit my perfect retest for that crazy 3 day head and shoulders. So I'm hoping that this is breakdown. If not, I mean I can lock in some profit if I start to see that turn. So all good.
Yeah. You got the perfect retest on that, right?
Like not far off at all. Maybe I could have squeezed another sort of like 10 cents side of it, maybe. But I mean, it's close enough. I was more pleased to see it reject slightly lower down than I would be to see it start really compromising that region. So hopefully this is it. But there's something in the back of my mind that says it isn't going to make it that easy for me. So I'm just keeping like one eye on it.
Good stuff, man. How about you, Ace?
Yeah.
You been messing with crypto or stocks more?
Yeah, we were actually just talking about this beforehand. He's been going a little bit more into me. I've only done about like at this point at this range with Bitcoin, I've done 2 trades on Bitcoin, and in general, I've only done one trade for today, which was on SPY. So I did 23% and then stopped, and then kind of fell asleep in the middle of it, so I couldn't take my second one. But yeah, it's not bad. Kind of just waiting right now. I mean, my biggest thing was we didn't clear 87, so that was pretty much it for me. I was like, well, I'm just gonna kind of stay flat here and wait. I could scalp if I want to. I just don't feel like it. It's been great. It's been a beautiful range. I've been looking at it. It's been like barding left and right, wicking here and there. Like on
Yeah.
Mex, that's like what you die for.
Yeah, that's really true, man. I've been in XRP mostly. That's the one thing I've been going for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you on that. And again, it's one that I'm still nervous about because it looks so good. and it like every time this happens to me, same with HT, every time something looks good, I'm like, this is too good to be true, right?
Yeah.
Like start feeding me some bearishness so I can counter this. Like I need somebody to keep me in check.
I'm not that guy, dude.
I'll
I know.
tell you guys.
Every time I see you post, I'm like, fuck, I got to double down on this now. This is it.
Yeah, what's up, J
Yeah.
Bags? What's up, Joel Perdorito? Sorry, I probably butchered that. Welcome.
Yeah, Bagsy, I think we talked about our target. It's still not there yet, but it's been moving nicely. I told Bagsy I was like 4,000 sats, and then I'd probably stop, maybe 4,100 if I was feeling a little extra. But that was at like 3,000 sats. We were talking about this.
Yeah, I got like 50% take profits from the high 39s to the low 42s because of that. And the other 50% I'm going to let it ride.
Just weekly though is like
yeah.
fucking looking beautiful because it's finally over the 20 SMA, and this is the same setup I had with Litecoin when Litecoin was at the bottom. So I'd be like aiming for 68 or 77,000 sats.
Shit.
Would be technically the target.
Any chance you could share your screen if you have it up, or?
Yeah, sure.
Sick.
Um,
Yeah. Coldblood, have you been messing with Ethereum at all?
Barely. The majority of my stuff, like I was just saying to Ace before, I've taken 7 trades on BTC today. So, and I'm currently in, I say a double short position, right? I've just doubled down on a short position. So, like I've got these random alerts going off in the background. I've just hit my first take profit region, so I'm just like I was slightly distracted. But no, I haven't touched ETH recently. Just literally been scalping BTC and then playing these longer term exchange tokens. Are you in ETH?
I took a scalp a couple days ago, but apart from that, just I've had some like longer term holdings and some stuff I earn like in the community and stuff. I just leave it in Ethereum or whatever native currency it is. So that.
Yeah. And what are you looking at? Are you looking at USD pair, or are you?
Both actually.
Yeah.
I had a long open on the Ethereum BTC pairing, but I cut that early because I didn't like what I saw, and yeah, it was a good thing. But yeah, I'm sitting on my hands for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bagsy, what levels are you looking to hold for XRP? I'm at 3320.
Here's the levels that I have open.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was just telling these guys, weekly was what I was looking at. The 20 SMA flips here. I mean, looks like a beautiful weekly right now. Especially considering we only have 2 days left. I don't think it's going downwards anywhere. I look at the daily. Daily looks strong and ready to go at least minimum to 39 from over here because we're clearing each cluster strong. So, and then if I wanted to do like bigger targets, since we are in the weekly, so I'm just going to take this as the same setup as I did with Litecoin. So, yeah, I mean, this is where I would start taking profit. This would be the max right here. This would be like a moon bag up here, but I'd probably start exiting out at 6K if things keep going this way.
You know, it would be brutal if they managed to just dump it here to make some type of inverse head and shoulders and then moon it.
Did you guys see John B-Man's tweet earlier? I couldn't comprehend what he meant. Maybe you guys know. Let me pull it up.
Yeah. Yo, Nikos, what's up, bro? He's like the fucking frog, the fucking Renko frog. Yo, he's on Periscope right now. Yo, good to have you, man.
This is what he said. He said good potential for a head fake in BTC. Wait for it. I don't see a head fake over here. I don't even know what he's talking about. Is he talking about like a head and shoulders fake out?
Oh, I don't know actually. I don't use that term.
Yeah, I don't know what.
It's ghetto
Mr.
trading over
Beatman.
here, up or down.
I think your XRP target, by the way, I think that's like I was really pleased to hear you say that because I think that a lot of people are looking at the 4K area, which is absolutely a fine area to look at for taking profit at. Like I've got no issues with that 4K area being a take profit region. I just think like if you look at the structure of this, and also if you look at the way it's rounding off, like I think that this rounded bottom that's coming in here, like if this pops out, then it's going to go heavy. And like I've been sharing, the Renko divergences for this, like we haven't even played out the divergence yet. We are still very much on the bearish side of that. So like as soon as that pops to the bullish side, like that's where I expect the real fireworks to come in for it. So I think that the first target of like the 4K region, if this goes, then it's going to get blown out pretty quick.
That's good to hear.
I got a question for you as far as Renko goes. I mean, I know this isn't the exact Renko you use, but whenever you are flipping through time frames on Renko, so like let's say like right now I'm on XRP on the weekly and I'm using Flex Renko. So since I'm looking at the weekly time frame, I automatically switch my Renko to the weekly time frame Renko time frame. Is that the appropriate way to switch the ATR, or should I just stick to a certain ATR and then still cycle through various time frames, or keep the time frames and the ATRs matching.
So if I'm looking at trend, which is primarily what I would be on a weekly for me, then I would simply be using ATR 14. Like ATR 14 is my go-to through pretty much every time frame above the minutes.
Now,
So-
when you say 14, is that like 14 minutes or?
No, so that's your ATR input. So that's your input for how it's going to be calculating. So when you're using it on there, your resolution of the ATR, if you cycle through the options there, it will probably change that out for you. You're going to get slightly different values of ATR depending on what time frame you're on. So it looks as though your emulator is just going to tweak that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
But if you were just using natural Renko, then I would just be using ATR 14 as your base setting.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
pull
because
that
this fancy one I'm using just flipped green on this one, and then when I flip it to
up.
the daily, it's ready to go.
Yep. Yeah. And like that gives a really clean idea of the trend as well.
But yeah, no, the other week, and I think I mentioned this once on stream. You know, every month Ripple sends some money out of the treasury, or just has to dump it, or not has to, but chooses to. And people were retweeting that over and over, and that's kind of just like creating a bias out of nothing. Like every month they're going to release tokens. Like, I don't know. Like the chart's bullish, so why, create narratives around, like, let's say they're liquidating 5 to 10
That's what
million
we
a month.
do. We speculate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's been going on forever, right? That those tweets come out and like instantly they just get like mass retweeted and everybody starts freaking out about that. I think that given the structure of the chart, like it's just play the chart. Like if this has been happening previously, like it's not just something within the last month that's been happening, right? Like this is something that has happened for,
we
for
all
a long
know.
time. So yeah, so it's just play the chart. Like the chart is clean enough.
Damn, and we just had another horrible daily open. I mean, this thing is even worse than yesterday's.
No, the daily open was perfect.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure.
Nico's, come on, dude. And earlier, Cred said a head fake is when the upper band gets bulldozed and then price reverses to the downside.
Oh, dude, thank you, Cred. I've been asking like 6 different people today, and they weren't giving me an answer.
No.
Oh, okay.
So go back to his tweet, Ace. Like what is he saying? Like now we've got that context.
Good potential for a head fake in BTC. Wait for it. And then here's Mr. John's chart.
So I guess it would break it to the downside and reverse.
I think it's good. I think he needs
upper
going
band,
up.
sorry, upside.
That's what
Yeah.
That's what I thought he meant up, because I could see something here where it could pop up. But I don't
And what's the upper band? What's the upper band level currently?
Hang on. This is on the daily. 1 second. Uh, 85 ish.
All right.
That's not really out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I wouldn't expect 85, but I'd expect more like 83. But that's the top of the bands, is what. I mean, see, that's weird that he's even expecting that, because typically whenever I look at the B bands like this, the fact that we're under the 20 SMA, this just feels like it's just going to extend underneath the B bands and just go down to like 72. I don't know. He's the creator, so I'm not going to argue with him.
Lucky Cred, head fake is what I think I'm gonna get lucky, but she just wants to watch movies instead. Oh man.
I think I prefer that definition as well.
Sounds like my Tinder dates.
Dude, when's the last time you've been on a Tinder date, Ace?
Well, I use Plenty of Fish. I don't use Tinder. They're
How
more
is Plenty of
trashier
Fish?
girls. Plenty.
I've been meaning to
Dude,
study
even
that.
more trashier than they're a lot more easier on there than Tinder. You don't have to go through the whole filters and putting the fancy photos on Tinder or on Plenty of Fish. You just find them and You can filter out girls too, but like size, weight, color, everything. Mother, father, brother.
I prefer the no father category.
Sometimes I gotta check on the will date single mothers. Those are for the rough days.
Man, have you, Cole? Have you ever used Tinder or anything like that in the past? Before your
No, we were like,
commitments?
do you know what? Me and my wife, me and my wife talk about this because we've been together for 8 years, and like we were probably just before like online dating, like right at the start of online dating. We met at university, and like we were just before like true online dating kicked off, and especially shit like Tinder. So we missed all of that. So we often like speculate like, what the fuck would it be like for us now if either of us were single to go back into like this new environment?
And what did?
And like I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't even imagine it.
I think it's harder,
Like,
in a way.
yeah, like it's weird. Like it just seems to like the way that I view it is, it just seems to open up like possibilities, but also like rejection, like massively. So you kind of got both sides of that. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's also seems like there's a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
I only go to christianmingle.com, so
You bring them to Skillet concerts and shit.
more like the Fray, more like those Jesus bands.
Yo, Frey is pretty good. Don't talk shit about that. Yo, do you guys, in chat, do you guys know any good Christian rock bands that you support? Yeah, no, I used to use Tinder before my girlfriend, but my partner, yeehaw. But yeah, it's funny. The other day she asked me, she's like, "Do you still use it?" I'm like, "What?" Because like we're in an open relationship, but I think it would have really pissed her off if I still did. Because that's like actually.
Did you say you're in an open relationship?
I did, yeah.
What's your definition of that?
We can sleep with other people, but nothing emotional, I guess, with others.
All right.
So I can't have like 3 girlfriends or 3 wives or anything.
Just move on with the 3 wives quick. Just
Yeah, I don't.
just next week you're just like, I got 3 wives now. Sorry, it's done.
It's open.
We're going. I don't even think I could afford 3, let alone 1, man. Yo.
Yeah, no. After one wedding, that's it. Like that's me done. That's me set forever, man. Like there ain't no going back on that. That shit is expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. Luckily, mine's able to support herself, so she's it's all good. She's gonna be working class one day.
I always tell Bagsy, I'm like, wrap that shit up soon.
But by wrap it up, what do you mean? Like literally wrap it up, or like wrap
ring it
up, or
ring it up, ring her up.
Oh, ring it up, yeah.
Ring her up, chain her up, whatever you need to do.
Do you believe in marriage, Ace? I mean, not believe. It's not something.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course. I mean,
you support it.
Yeah, marriage is cool. The open relationship stuff is definitely interesting. I'm not against it. I mean, whatever makes people happy. But I mean, I could definitely find arguments and things to argue with you about and be like, "Why are you doing that, bro?"
Mm-hmm.
But if that makes you happy and that, but
it comes at a cost.
Yeah, that definitely comes at a cost, and I think personally you could do better. Unless you're the issue, which then it's whatever. But if she's the issue, that's different.
I'll take the hit on this one.
That's just like it's all me, guys.
Yeah, odds are. Man.
Get yourself a cryptid chick.
Fuck, dude. Fuck that. I'm not teaching anyone.
I don't think that like so like with the sorry, Bags, I jumped in front of you, man.
Oh no, no, go for it. I think I'm a bit delayed as well.
All right, yeah, maybe slightly. I was just saying, like, the whole marriage thing for us was like a really weird one. Like, my main thing was I hate the sort of the path of life that you're expected to take by others. So it's like we've been together 8 years, right? So then it gets like a couple of years down the line, and everybody's like, when you get engaged, and then when you like that question just becomes the dominating thought. So it's like when you've been together for 5 years, and then you start going for like a weekend away, and she starts thinking, is this the weekend? Is this the weekend that he pops the question? Like, do you know? And like every event is like ruined by this thought of like, is this the weekend it happens, right? And like all of her friends are always the same. You know, they're like, oh, he's going to do it soon. He's booked a weekend away. This is it. And it's like, nah, like I just want to go away. I just want to go away for the weekend. You know, so you just feel like you're letting someone down constantly. But I mean, like once it was set, it was set. I hated the sort of the social aspect of you've been together 5 years. Like this is coming now. This is the next step for you. Like that was what I really disagreed with. Like the concept of marriage was fine. It was mainly the expectation of everybody else to be like, this happens now. You've been together too long.
Yeah, I think you've completed all the social aspect steps now. You got married, got the baby.
I know. Listen, and I say how much I hate that those social pressures, right? And I've just conformed to it massively. Yeah, I got engaged, I got married, I had a kid a year later. We got a dog, we got a house. Like I just conformed. I've stepped in line, man. Yeah, I've stepped in line, man.
You NPC.
Yeah, completely.
Good night, Cred.
Completely.
Bye, Cred. Thank you for explaining John's tweet.
But man, the last thing you have to do, Cold, is just like hang your nuts on a hook at some point at the end, and then you completed the activity. Exactly. But no, I'm happy for you, man. It's really cool.
I'm pretty sure we're very close to that already.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, man. I don't know. Before her, I've never really considered myself for anything like really long term. Like I've had girlfriends and stuff, but it was never like, you know, potentially could be something more. But yeah, head on the shoulders.
I'm always so focused on like more my own self success that I always forget about those things.
Well, yeah, being in a relationship takes a lot, you know, depending on the couple.
That's why, like,
as well.
If I could find a girl that's like equally as like into wanting to make money or something, or wanting to do productive things as me, like that'd be awesome.
Yeah, someone as driven as you, that isn't high maintenance. That's when it can work.
I can give a couple crypto handle tags.
I think your Christian dating site is perfect.
A good religious girl. Who knows
yeah, I think you're in the right places, man.
Dude, they want me to write like a profile. I can only write emojis and memes.
That's a talent not many people can do, man. There's a market for you, Ace.
I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll just post like a meme on like the dating websites, and like if they respond to this horrible, evil meme, then it's like, you guys have some sort of sense of humor.
Dude, it's so true. Yo, Dogecoin is looking gorgeous, man. Gorgeous. I love you, Dogecoin.
Oh, I do want to check a coin out. I want to check out CCX.
Hey, Cold, have you ever played with Doge before?
Yeah. Like on the last move. And like I've been debating it this time. Like the 27 sat region was kind of where I was looking at it. But I just kind of had my focus elsewhere. Like I've been so like head down on this BTC scalping system. Like I played a load of Binance alts over the last week or so. But I'm still very much taking like in and out moves on them. I'm not getting too caught up with holding for too long. Like there's been some really nice like 10% pops. Like FET had a 40% pop. Like there's been some really nice moves to capitalize on. I think that the Doge is going to be the same. Like it's just gonna, and then it's interesting, you know, given the legacy of it, what will happen then with the rest of the market.
So funny you say the 27 level, because like I was just getting mad at Bagsy when he told me it was at 33 sats. I'm like, fuck, man. I was just looking in mentally at like that 27, 25 area that I should have bought in then. But Ichi wise, it's set up really nice. Like it's in the clouds. It's already pushed to the top. So I think I might get lucky and be able to get in at 29 sats.
The thing is, Ace, like this is a talking point that I have quite a bit in my group, right? Is like if your expectation is 100 sats for Doge, right? Where's your cutoff point? Whereas like where do you continue to hold the thought of 29 sats if you don't get a retest there or a move back down there? Like where is the point where you would be comfortable just being like, okay, I'll move on this?
So that's like that's good that you asked that. So people always wonder like how I layer in. So the way I layer into things is typically, I mean, I've always been addicted to market buys, so I do end up market buying most of the time a lot. So I'll set up layers to where my first couple set of buys are smaller, but then I'll set in bigger bids lower down at more reasonable points. So if they do end up hitting, wonderful, like those are good sized bids that are getting filled. If not, I'll go ahead and stick with my first couple bids that I've either market bought or just with a very small spread area I'm playing with. And if they go good, awesome. If not, I'll exit out as I need to. But
yeah. Like I played very, very similar. Like I'm a big one that I posted something on Twitter a while ago, which was basically calling like retests a meme. And like I still kind of have that belief in a way. My usual like strategy for something like this, if I have the expectation that something may pull, you know, 100% move, 50% move, then I very much look to like market in and then average down. So I prefer to take a smaller position at market at the point I identify the opportunity, and then average down if I do get that test below. But I'd rather get a piece of the action earlier. So like it's just an interesting like thing to chat about, because I think a lot of people get held up on the fact that they want to see a retest at a certain level, but they're willing to throw away like a 30% upside for the case of getting a 1% down move.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way. Back when we were having a bull run, people used to drop the word confirmation all the time. And like that's when I was like really early, I was like, well, I guess I should wait for confirmation. But then like I would trade and try to wait for confirmation, and it would never come. It would get close to it, but like it would just start blowing off after that. I'm like, well, I was stupid. I'm like, I should have just market bought and took the hit for like 5% and still caught the rest.
Yeah, like we chatted about, it's one of the things we said, like there's almost this like unwritten set of rules for trading, and like that's one of them. I think like if you openly admit that you don't wait for retests, it's almost like that's going to be like frowned upon by the community. You're like, wait a second, you don't wait, like you have to wait for a retest. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like, and I've always thought that's why I kind of just brought up that topic, is like I think there's a lot of opportunity missed by people that wait, because the opportunity's there to be taken, but it isn't, because like for some reason people wait for this magical retest or confirmation level, or like, and in reality I just don't think it happens the majority of times.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not going to adjust my price level. I'm going to adjust my risk level if I end up doing that. Why would I adjust anything else?
Yeah, sorry for sidetracking you, Bagsy. I was just it's just a really interesting point. Like it's something that came up recently, and I just think it's like one of those interesting. As soon as I saw Ace mention the 29 sat level, it was just instantly prompted me to that.
Yeah. No.
Bagsy is my number one guy to go to. Be like, yo, Bagsy, where should I enter? Bagsy has like low entries, which normally end up being my most bottom entry.
I'm a cheap fuck.
No, it's really good. You're safe, so like I get a good idea of like what other people would end up doing if they're being overly cautious.
Thanks, Ace. But yeah, regarding Doge, I got in at like 26, 27 sats, like in between there. And for Doge, like I was willing to buy all the way down to like 0. Well, not 0, but you know the mid tens, and I layered in with 50% of my position, and then I kept looking at the volume and I just like bought the rest on the spot. So like so far it's working out on that, but typically I just go in and I hope for the best, and retests happen a lot, and I like layer in extra down there as well. So I'm never at a point where my position's so big that I'm just uncomfortable. unless it all gets filled and I'm fully filled, I'm like, okay, let's go. So I don't handicap myself at the start like I used to. And that was a hard lesson for me to begin with. But yeah, no, it is a good topic, and it's good we're speaking about trading and not my relationship stats or whatnot. Actually provide some value for these people. Yo, it's chat. Like, what are you guys looking at right now? What projects are you guys hopeful for? What are your dreams, aspirations?
Dude, if I'm gonna talk to somebody, I'd rather talk to somebody that's like, "Hey, man, I'm in a relationship, but I'm home all the time," versus the guy who's like, "Yeah, man, I'm trading, but I'm out all the time partying." I'm like, "Wow, how are you gonna be trading and partying?" I don't catch any of those kind of people on here. I've never met anybody on here who's like, "Yeah, I'm partying all the time, but I'm also a full-time trader." I'm like, "No, you're not."
Well, then at the same time, like, how long does it actually, like, how do you define a full-time trader? Is it someone who's, like, how could I phrase it? Is it someone who's constantly searching for position? Or,
then they would call themselves a swing trader.
Fair enough.
But, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're trading, like, daily, I would consider, or like even like weekly, I guess you would be considering you. I mean, in crypto, you're not really if you go anywhere past like 3 weeks, in my mind, you're more so an investor or somebody that is really good at sniping out some sort of bottoms and tops. But
yeah, but like it kind of like along the lines like.
What do you think, Shills?
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
What are you referring to? Like what you determine a full-time trader as?
Sure, yeah.
So, like, I guess my definition is slightly different. Like, if you were to ask me what is a full-time trader, I would say that somebody's sole salary is made from trading. So their sole income comes from trading. Like, there is no backup. There is
one
option.
That makes more sense.
So it is your job, right? Like, there's no backup to that. You trade, you pay the bills, and that's it.
You live.
Yeah, or get poor, and that's it.
Fuck.
Then you're a full-time analyst.
Yeah.
What do we think of CHZ? Yeah, that coin had a good run today. I know Euro Sniper and their team sniped it.
CHZ has some really clean levels. Like it is a really clean thing to chart.
Chili's?
Yeah, it's a French coin, I believe, or.
What?
Nico's full-time trader is someone that makes a living on trading. Doesn't matter if it's 1 hour or 10 hours a day. Yeah, I agree with you, Nico's. That's kind of like where I was going. I'm sure there's some party guys out there, but they look at the charts, whatever, in the afternoon for a couple hours a day. They tag the ones that are interesting, and they just like set alerts for the week.
Yeah,
that's like what I do.
Still made more sense of what I was trying to say.
Yeah. But I guess since Twitter, I'm no longer a full-time trader because, there's a bit of income coming in from there. So it's like, fuck. By Cold's definition.
I mean, I guess I would technically consider you.
No, I guess I mean, like, it just has to be like you're still a full-time trader, right? If you're making money from that, like, it doesn't matter if you've got other revenue streams as well. I guess in my mind, it just means like you don't go and work a 9 to 5 job and then come and trade like a couple of hours in the evening, right? Like, even if you do that every day, to me, you're not a full-time trader
because it's not the main source of your attention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Man, I like you guys.
I'm glad that Link was brought up as well, Bags. That's an interesting one to take a look at after you've looked at CHZ if you're into that.
Sure. Actually, let me pull up a post I did.
Dude, mentally, psychologically, or whatever, I think Link is like a great example because like right at the end of August and the beginning of September, everybody was like, "Oh, you're so stupid for investing into Link," blah blah blah. And Link basically it already almost hit back to the high that it hit before. So it just keeps ripping. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Link's a good one. Someone posted a parabolic curve for Link?
I think it's Tunes.
Was it Tunes? Okay, hold up. Link. Hold up, link from latest.
Maybe it wasn't. I had this feeling that it was.
Yeah, he did. There you go. Yeah, you're right. Crazy stuff, man. But yeah, no, Link. I find the most volatile coins are Link on Binance. Link, Ren, Raven coin. What else?
I think you can throw Matic in there.
Why did I?
I think like when Matic goes, it's not as trend heavy, but.
Matic BTC. Nikos wants to join. Are you guys for that? BTC. Hold up.
No, he can't join.
Fuck Nico.
Yeah, I back what Ace is saying. Oh, good man.
Sorry, Nikos. Yeah, Matic is delicious.
The tribe is spoken.
Dude,
Yo, would you guys ever do Survivor in real life?
Dude, I can't believe you brought up Survivor, dude.
If not Survivor, Big Brother, one or the other. If you guys had to choose.
Shit, I've never
trying to
watched
use
Big Brother, man.
The only reason I mention these shows is because like girls watch them around me, and it's like I can't help but get drug into them, and it's like fuck. That's like that stupid Teen Mom show. Like I hate it so much, but like I know it. It's like God damn you. Does anybody know how to? Any of the viewers know how to use a fib spiral? I feel like that'd be good to get in. I just don't know what I'm doing here. It just keeps making circles.
Oh, have you ever played with that, Cold? Fib spirals and shit.
Not a fucking chance. Nah, like I was very close. I was hovering over the hang up button as soon as I heard Ace chat about that shit as well.
Oh shit. Thanks for the $1, sir.
Is that the dollar for fibs? Alright, let's go on.
Yo, Charles's podcast is
The reason I brought up Link as well is like.
Yeah, let's stick to Link, dude.
No, you're right about Charles, but the reason I brought up Link was just the listing on FTX, right? Like I think that was a really nice ad for me, like to get that there. So you know, having some nice leverage positions. Like I'm currently long from earlier this evening on Link, which is like it ramped up pretty nicely to the sort of 239 region. I think it's got to overcome 245 for me to really get excited about this again. Is 245 on lower time frame feels like a pretty key level for me to reclaim.
245. Yeah, I see.
Goku. I don't watch it. I'm forced to watch it, bro. I don't mean to watch that. Somebody just tweeted like found out that Hackerman Ace watches Teen Mom.
Yeah, the POC is at 253.7, so that'd be another interesting level to get above. But yeah, first level would be that pivot at 248 or whatever.
Yeah, so I think that like once we pass there, then fine. But you know, like we had a nice bounce from this region, but I think it's got to overcome that for me. So like that's what my plan is. I'll ride the scalp up to there. I got in at 223.
Nice entry.
So yeah, so I'm hoping for that move, and then I'll bow out. I think unless there's some serious volume that comes in.
You guys want to laugh at me?
Shields, are you doing all this on FTX exchange?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm taking Link on FTX. The only thing, right? So I scalp for my living. Like everything that I class as like salary usually comes from scalping Renko. So I still do that at Mex because of the API integration. So as soon as FTX can provide that, then I'll be swapping over to FTX for that portion. But right now I'm just kind of playing like some alt swings and scalps on there.
And what time frames are you typically using for that stuff? Are you basically doing it in the sense where like you're plotting out your major ones from the high time frames and then using the smaller ones?
Yeah, pretty much so. It's I'm taking trades from, like, if you consider like the exchange tokens, they're probably all taken from like a daily time frame.
Are you able to share any kind of recent trade for today as far as like setup goes and as far as what considered a Renko entry and a Renko flip for an exit?
Yeah, give me a couple of minutes. I'll sort something out for you.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, if you guys want to laugh at me, I bought some MFT yesterday. I honestly think this thing's gonna pop to the upside.
For the people who don't know Renko, the basic of the most basic of the most basic I can give you is flipping from red to green means it's flipping, but there's more to it than that. But
Renko-wise, MFT looks like hot garbage on the daily.
yeah,
So
I
that would
doubt
be a
something
no-go.
like that.
Yeah, like I don't want to say anything bagsy, but it's probably the truth as well.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I didn't risk much on this one, but I'm expecting a scam pump into like the mid 20s. So I'm just basing myself off the VPVR and another thing. But yeah, anyways, hope fingers crossed. If it doesn't work out, I'll live.
I got a funny story for you guys while he's doing that. Back in like 2015 or 2016, I had joined a paid group or whatever, and it was just more so to see if they were actually legitimate or not. Okay, and it was a Telegram one. It was the only Telegram one I've ever joined, and I'm still apparently still in it. So I was like checking my Telegram yesterday because I was getting alerts from it, and so they have an original group, but now a paid group is running another paid group inside of a paid group that's going to offer another paid group for people who are offering or using a minimum of 3 Bitcoin on their account under the ref link. It's just crazy how like deep this paid group hole is going. This guy's just getting really into it. And I feel bad because there's like a lot of people in there, so I'm assuming he's making money, but it's just like he flip flopped like 6 million times the other day. I'll have to share you guys the things so you guys can stay away from that.
Which
Three
dude was this?
BTC, man.
I missed that. Sorry.
This is something back I joined in 2016. It was like some stupid paid group I joined on Telegram,
Oh,
and
shit. Yeah.
I just got an alert the other day saying if you deposit 3 Bitcoin, you can join the super private paid group, and
God.
I was just like, yikes.
It reminds me of like what the fuck are they called? Bitcoin Fund Manager. Like the dude who's a con artist. Like
The best was Tika pumps. Those are the
that's
those are
that
the
shit's
best.
still working though. Tika's still pumping, man.
Let's not be doing too good, or he's doing it on like weird exchanges.
Nah, man, fucking Tika, quote unquote, made a post before TNT went like 4x recently. So yeah, there was a whole thread about Josh and Nika, like Josh Rager and Nika going on about like the fundamental reasons why it pumped, and Nika was taking the position that it was the algorithms, and Josh Rager was taking the position that it was Tika that pumped it. So that was an interesting little piece.
Good. I think it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, no, they one and the same. Yeah, Shazbot. Oh man, BTC Fund Manager shilled the fuck out of Kova. Kova.
Yeah, and I don't even hear. I think Koba is dead now.
Yeah, it died.
That's like Gockstein showed the fuck out of Daps, and look at where Daps is now.
Where is Das actually?
Oh, look,
Well, they're always at conferences. I always see them with a booth, so at least they're doing something. Yeah, Daps is as 3 sats. Damn, this is bright.
All right, I'm gonna do my own interpretation of this shills before you go into it. This is
All right.
just me completely just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So, all right, so 5 minute chart. I'm assuming you drew the little diagonal line because you're looking for some sort of divergence. I don't use them, so I really need to. And then there's like a support and resistance type thing here. Then I don't know what you did.
You're not bad. You're not bad. So basically, what you had was continued sell off on Link, and if you look slightly to the left, okay, there was a very similar play out. You see there, so exactly there. So you've got the downside move. You've got the indicator down the bottom, which is indicating that we've got like a flat level in momentum now. So I'm aware that momentum isn't continuing to increase on a bearish side. And just like we've got the example to the left, we had exactly the same play out there. And the momentum was also flat, even slightly more of a divergence at that point there. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, when I was eyeballing this, I've got a very similar setup to what happened there. So basically, I'm looking for a similar play out. The two lines that you can see on the right-hand side are essentially where I start to get worried about this trade. So the first one is an area that I would expect to hold, and then the second absolutely has to hold.
So are you leveraged on these?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So essentially, it's just like keeping track now of movements and like where I expect certain levels to hold for me to get continuation.
How do you manage the trade from here? Like when you fall asleep, do you set stop losses? Are you?
Yeah. So realistically, I will close this position before I sleep. Okay. The only thing that I would do is I'll be up for another few hours, so I would expect to see some more price action develop that I can then make a decision on where I'd like my stop to be. So if I'm comfortable keeping that trade open, then I would just look for those levels like Ace was showing that would be in validation for me, and I would just have to set a stop and go sleep.
So are there any? Okay, well, I guess I guess that doesn't. All right, let's just assume that you were going to keep this open longer than you would. Are there any? Is this setup? Are there any? I guess like I don't know. I'm trying to ask this. On like the higher time frames, are there more important zones that you have already drawn up, or can you show us more important zones based off Renko on higher time frames?
Yeah, pretty easily actually. Pretty easily. I'll ping that across to you.
I hope you guys. I mean, I for the viewers that are watching, I hope you guys are understanding like what I'm trying to like get broken down. I'm terrible at explaining it because I'm doing my own thing at the moment. But just like if you guys know how to trade, you guys should get an understanding of what he's talking about.
If not, hit him up.
Yeah, if not, DM people. I mean, I'm open to DMs. I'm sure he's open to DMs. I'm sure Bagsy is. So
well, I don't know shit about Renko, so don't DM me about that.
He'll forward the DMs to us. So
I'm the secretary, okay? But yeah, how's your group going, Cold? Are you guys is your community happy? How's that been going?
Yeah, good. Everything's going really well. I've been producing a couple more videos for those guys, so a couple more like educational videos primarily on trend trading Renko actually, which has been a nice change of pace because everything else has kind of been lower time frame focused. So I've had that this week, and also one of the members in the group, a guy called Martin, he finished 4th in the first week of the Battle Royale.
Beautiful.
So that was really cool, really nice achievement for him. So yeah, we've been doing really well. There's some like really nice success stories coming out of it. And the other thing that we have is we've got like a graduates group, right? So like when your time in the group, when you feel as though you're ready to move on and leave the group, then you get invited to the graduates group, and that's essentially just a group full of former members that still want to share analysis, share like Renko, and share their thoughts. So like you just hop into there. So the graduate group's actually grown quite a lot in the last couple of months, and obviously everybody that leaves the main group just hops over to graduates.
Very cool.
High time frame. I'll ping you this image now. Like it's super clear on Link on where these higher time frame levels are for me. So I'll send that across to you now so you can see. But essentially, it's exactly the region that we were discussing with Bagsy before.
Ace, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, responding to the viewers, man. That's interaction for you.
All right, so that's the link on the hourly.
Yeah, and just a pretty clear level that I'm looking at. Like it's kind of one of the key levels for this, and the way it relates to Candle is obviously super
Right.
clean as well. But it's essentially this level that I'm looking to
Sure.
get into. Yeah, and realistically, it depends on how aggressive I am, and if and when this hits target, I would flip at this level.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends if I refer to like blind flipping. So I would, whether or not I would just put asks at this level and just short into it blind, or whether or not I'd wait for a reaction and actually monitor that live. But like this is, it's weird that because I'm trading Renko on tick now, like everything feels so slow to me when I watch it on this.
I
This chart.
know.
Like it's so slow, man. Like I want instant action.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like this is another talking point that we have is, you know, there's all sorts of different mentalities that fit into trading. And I think some people try and force themselves to trade in a way that goes against their mentality. So I very much am someone that I want instant gratification, right? Like I want to put a trade on, I want to make some money, and that's it. But I want that to happen quick. So like scalping is the perfect thing for me because it fits exactly what I want, you know, with my psychology. And I think like I see a lot of people who are too anxious about trades that probably should be looking at lower time frames and developing a scalping strategy over trying to be swing traders. And like this is something that now I'm like hyped up on this like live action Renko. It's like everything else just feels like so slow.
That's an interesting
Dude.
point.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Instant gratification. I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, at least used to modify my positions and, you know, take profit early and look to re-enter and, you know, play with the trade. And I realized that more often than not, I'd be better off just holding the initial position and waiting till target. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that scalping is a way that you found to satisfy that.
Yeah, like I would find that like I think the psychology of swing trading is incredibly difficult. Like so there's so many people that will get scared out of a position, like they will take the right trade at the right level, and when price starts to reverse and come back towards their level, they close the trade, they take profit, and then price reverses and goes in the right direction they thought all the time. And so I think swing trading has such a difficult psychological aspect that you have to overcome. And for me, like personally, that was one of my flaws. Like I wasn't a particularly strong swing trader at all, because if things didn't happen quick enough for me, or like I had to wait like an extended period of time to get that gratification, then I would start messing with my trades. And usually I would make incorrect decisions. Like I get the analysis right, but I'd make incorrect decisions in managing that trade. And so scalping has just been the thing that I focused on for like 2 years, which has just been like, okay, like I want money. I want to make money within like 15 minutes of putting a position on, and that's it.
Man, dude, you sound like a perfect candidate to get you stuck and addicted to options. So like whenever you get like some free time, I want to get you addicted to options because your Renko strategy would be so good in options, because I see so many other good people who use that in those kind of trades, especially for like scalps. And like when you're talking instant gratification, man, like those SPY trades I was telling you that I was taking today on the 1 minute chart, that's 23% in like 15 minutes. And like that's just like the short end of things. Like if I would have done even more volatile ones, that's like 60%. And this is all short time frames. So I think you would love that.
Yeah, see, that's the sort of shit I want. Like they're the sort of numbers you're talking, good numbers, Ace.
Oh, dude, those are short. Those are super short. Like those my take profit levels for those are 40, 60, and 90, and those are like I had to readjust them because normally I'm used to crypto and I used to adjust that to like 20, 40, and I think it was like 70. So
yeah.
If you ever get interested, man, I really would love to teach you.
Yeah, I will happily drop you a DM. Let me get this BTC stuff grinded out, and then I'll happily drop you a DM. Bagsy, another one to take a look at maybe is OKB.
Yeah, sure.
OKB USD.
It's on.
Yeah, don't take it from FTX, but it is on FTX.
Okay.
But and then like the 4-hour, maybe the 4-hour chart is probably the cleanest.
I'll get it on Bitfinex. 4-hour. What the fuck?
While he pulls that up, on this Renko chart that I have pulled up from the 1 hour for the link that you have, so on these trend areas, when as you can see, like over here, it's going up over here, but over here it's going up. Would you consider these like little breaks consolidation points or points that you might consider like obviously things that this will happen?
Yeah, like typically, like one of the rules, and it's it's like it's an old rule, but it still has some significance. Is that in Renko you treat 3 bricks of the opposite color as a reversal point. So unless if you're in an uptrend like we are at the start of that move there on the hourly, right? Unless you see 3 bricks printed of the opposite color, then you're probably okay for trend continuation. So any moves that we have down that are like single brick prints are usually areas of consolidation before another leg.
Okay, yeah,
And the
I
way
guess
that
it was for more so a downwards move rather than an upwards. Upwards would be easier, I guess, for me to figure out, but I guess going downwards with Renko, I was wondering more so if that would be important zones to look at to possibly stop a downtrend.
potentially just because that there's been a challenge to the trend at that region, right? So if you solely had the ability to look at the hourly, then you could probably make some sort of decision about those regions. They will play some part, but their effectiveness is usually relatively limited because they are only single bricks. Like it means that price kind of consolidated and then usually moved relatively quickly back to the upside. So there's still like a lot of strength in those regions, but I mean definitely like anywhere that an uptrend is challenged. But you can see on the left hand side is probably cleaner on like the original run up on Link. Some of those bigger areas of consolidation, just where your cursor is like at the tail end of those drawings, like those areas are better reaction points because there's more action that goes on in there, and there's a bigger battle taking place essentially.
Yo,
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. What's up, Crypto Man? What's up, Porky? What's up, guys? I didn't think CBS sounded like that. What did you think CBS would sound like?
Everybody gets surprised. Like
Ace just pulled up CBS Corporation on trading. So it's in a downtrend. Oh boy. Oh, interesting place actually.
Do you mean for OKB?
Not for CBS, but I have OKB here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so I have OKB on the 4-hour. What do you want me to do with this?
Have you got it? What pairing is that? Is that the
That's Bitcoin? Do you want USD?
Yeah, and ideally, USD. Where am I charting from actually? Let me just make sure that I'm. Basically, I want you to confirm the bias I have, so I may as well just give you
this. Okay, you want to give me what the?
Oh shit! I am actually trading it from FTX.
Okay, so okay.
So the FTX data.
OKB one. No, OKB.
Yeah, that's it.
Hedge USD. Hedge USD? No.
You got it there. The OKB exactly as your chart is now. I'm not sure if you're slightly delayed, but it's pretty much that one.
Oh, the one from CoinTrader Pro?
No. You can take OKB. You can take OKB Perp. It's your top option.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. It looks bearish. Bearish divergence.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I wouldn't long this.
That level, like where we are now, just feels like so clean.
Like perfect.
Yeah, like it, especially like the FTX chart, and there's also like a really nice trend line that runs up this last leg up.
FTX chat, and there's also like a really nice trend line.
Okay, where's the trend line? Oh, this one?
Oh, OKB.
Yeah, I'm watching now. I'm just waiting to see if the I'm waiting for the delay to kick in.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So
That's kind of, I gotta figure that out.
What are you doing with this position? Are you shorting it?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I added like 3 times today. Like I've been like this region, like the volume is like so weird. The price action's so weird. Every dip at this level has just been bought up. So I'm just like, but the divergences are super weird. Like the divergences are so strong. Like even on the 5-minute, we had some crazy bearish divergences. So like I can't shake my bias on this, and like the levels are too clean. Like that support resistance area that you've marked on FTX is like, that's too clean as a retest for me.
So you're bullish or bearish on this?
Bearish. Yeah, like I'm sure every single exchange token. So yeah, everything's been shorted. So
all right, so just to argue with your position, the way I look at it is, I mean, I guess I'd be drawing the weekly thing. So right now, the candle base of this weekly is still over, so it would need to break, $2.35 for it to get a little bit more. Because even when I go to the 4-hour, I mean, Ichi's setting up. I mean, maybe it pulls back a little bit to $2.30, unless you're looking for something small like that. But I mean, it looks kind of all right for now to lead to 260.
This is the end of OKB. That's the like, there is this time next month there is no OKB anymore. Like
yeah.
That's
I don't think it's gonna last that long.
Man, fuck. I hope you survive, OKB. I like you guys.
Same with HT, man. Like HT is it's gone. It's under $1 in the next 6 months. So
that trend line has been riding is interesting though.
Let me check the HT. Oh shit, use USD version.
Yeah, HT USD, and then
stocks are oversold though on the weekly.
HT USD, and then just check the 3-day, and then just see the head and shoulders and the retest, and that's pretty much it. That's the top.
I suck at head and shoulders, but I'll look at it anyway.
Oh yeah.
Market cycle done.
If it gets into the cloud, it's bearish, but if it keeps the cloud, it's bullish. But look, kind of sketch right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's really clean. There's so many similarities. Yeah, there's so many similarities to the last cycle up. So I've got the region highlighted, which is from the 6th of July to the 30th of July, to the 2nd of August, from the last cycle up, and essentially like it's exactly the same retest that we've just seen here from the last breakdown. So we just had like this really nice snap back up over July in 2018.
Oh, 1 day is bearish on the ET like bad.
So yeah, for me, like this is the short I've been waiting for. For
send it to Hades.
For yeah, man, this is gone. So like target for this is 94 cents. Like, and I'm not even trolling. Like it's 94 cents. That's where I'm closing this trade.
Whoa.
I'm taking this shit down.
Hiobi, if you're listening, take away his leverage now.
Yeah, and at FTX, if you're listening, please ramp me up to 200x.
You would definitely
engage the scam like
on 5-minute or minute with Renko. Like I'd assume that since you play with lower time frames, you can have an easier time finding the best entry because you're looking at it on the smallest degree. Is that true?
Yeah, it depends really. The Renko system trades itself, so essentially it's a really robotic way of trading. I think I said that before. Like it's just kind of, it tells me when to long and when to short, right? I set out the parameters in a way that give me those signals, and that I know exactly what those signals represent and why I want to take those positions. But when I'm looking at something like HT, the ability that I've had to utilize like scalping on really low time frames definitely helps with positioning. Like it definitely helps to like notice things like exhaustion points, potential pivots, and so having that experience of lower time frames definitely helps me. Like usually I'm not comfortable trading higher time frames at all. Like usually that's something I'm really not comfortable doing. It's a definite flaw in my trading. So like this HT trade is going to be a wild ride for me.
I wish you the best.
So this is just my own personal question. So do you understand? Because I'm like just this is some other guy that I watched that uses Renko, but on Stock World. I think his Renko is a little different, but I would assume that you maybe hopefully understand it. Do you understand anything like of what's going on right here on like? Let me figure out one I understand too at the same time. Like he has his settings set to like it says Flex Renko 325, 250, 150 point on the 1 minute.
Yeah, so he's essentially just using a Flex Renko variant, which is just like it offsets your data.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's very clean at producing trends, like you can see here. Like it's a very, very clean tool for utilizing in lower time frame. Like if you're scalping on stuff like this, like you can just find some super clean entries like this. I can see already like why you'd potentially want to take a short on this position. Like I would short this, right, without knowing the system too much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think that like Flex is a really interesting option, but for me it doesn't fit into the model that I have.
Because it's delayed?
No, like it like for what he's trading there, like it should be acting instantaneously. It's just because like on BTC, I rather see the raw price action in like dollar values just as it is, in like a traditional view versus seeing anything that's related to trend or offset. Like, and that's just because of how the system's worked. Like that's how my system was created. So I just don't want to deviate from it. But Flex Renko, I think, is a really interesting option for people. It just requires slightly more effort. Like people are still wrapping their heads around Renko as a whole, and then Flex Renko takes it to a slightly different level.
Yeah, because for me, like $1 to $2 moves like in like a day is like almost 100%. So that's like exciting for me.
Yeah.
Yo, Crypto Man, can we take a moment to summon the Swell Pump guys? Yes. Dude, boys, can you put your hands together?
Dude, but these guys are bullish as fuck on it, so you're
good. Yo, let's get it. I really.
When is Swell this year?
November 7th through the 8th, I believe. Around there.
All right, so like we should be pretty close to any Swell Pump then, right?
I'm assuming so, yes.
And does that mean we all have to flip short in November?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. Imagine they actually like start getting used by banks and it just goes on a parabolic run.
Yeah, and then we're stuck in short mode.
Yeah, liquidated.
All right, if you guys want some hopium, whoever that was asking for it, fundamentally, I've always been bullish on XRP, just because not fundamentally, not technology wise, as far as investor goes, the names that are associated with Ripple, like just such big names as far as investment people go, like Anderson and like all those people. I mean, it's just so big names. I just don't feel like they would be putting money into something that is going to lose. And I don't think a time frame of 5 to 10 years is something that's long for them. I think that's like an average time period for them. So I don't know. And like Ripple, I mean, just by my own use of things, it's like Ripple's fast as fuck and it's cheap. And then when I used to trade altcoins like hardcore, it was the easiest go-to. Buy Ripple, send it over, use Bitcoin. Like if I bought Bitcoin or Litecoin, like first I had to make sure Bitcoin's not clogged up, or even if it's faster now, like it's not really faster. it is, but I can still get XRP like way faster.
I was like really surprised by that because I never really sent XRP anywhere before, and then I sent some to Bybit, and like I couldn't believe how quickly that arrived.
Instant.
Like I was genuinely like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. Like I never knew that before. I'd literally just never touched XRP. And then I sent that across and I was like, oh shit. Like this thing is lightning.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, I don't care about the fundamentals. I'm like, I'm here to pay my taxes. I'm like, you can track my trades and whatever. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, it's great for me because I use it and it's quick and whatever. I'm not like an XRP fanboy.
Yeah, I mean it really didn't sound like that, Ace. I got to admit, it didn't come across that you weren't a fanboy.
So I am.
Yo, what do you guys think about the future of Monero?
Dead. Trash.
How come? Does their tech work?
No, it comes down to me saying that America's not going to be like, yes, we will allow this one privacy coin called Monero.
But
Right.
what is the states then?
Huh?
Like what can the states do really? I mean, if anything, would it not only reinforce the fact that people would need it?
Why wouldn't we just use Zcash then?
Because there's a known backdoor, I imagine, since it is registered on an exchange that requires certain things in order to.
I think there's
list.
arguments going on around Monero fundamentally that I don't know if I could participate in, but for me, it's always I don't think the government's gonna allow Monero because like if that's the case, why wouldn't they just allow something like Haven, which I'd prefer Haven over Monero anyway.
When you say allow, what can they do? It's a network. They can not allow their citizens to invest in it, but what are they gonna do? Like fucking knock on their door if it happens?
Just put mass restrictions on it, just not accept it. I mean, if it's not accepted, I mean, people aren't gonna want to use it. It's as simple as that. If it's not something that the government's happy about, they're not gonna. There's gonna be more people in the United States that's gonna be like, well, it's cool and all, but it's not legal. So
you think that maybe? I mean, okay.
That's just me. What about you,
What do you
Shills?
think?
Like I was closing my eyes a little because like unless you're talking about something that I can actively trade and make money from, right? Nothing else matters to me.
Gotcha.
So my fundamental knowledge, my like application knowledge is zero. Like all of these are just tickers to me, and that's it.
All right, then over in your side of your area, do you think that you'd be able to see the government be like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and buy things with this digital currency, and we won't be able to track it?
Are you talking about UK?
Yeah.
I mean, like our restrictions so far, are like crypto is like less under scrutiny, but there has been like an increase recently in like eyes on it. Especially like Coinbase has been having some issues here with UK banks. So like there's definitely like an eye on it, but again, like from my perspective, like it really like it sounds like I feel bad saying it, but like I don't really care.
No, it's okay. I'm just entertaining people. I
know. And like I'm not saying like, hey, like shut up, don't ask me questions about it. But I'm just saying like from my perspective, you know, like all I care about is
when
like to me like apart from taking away the markets that I trade, like there's no impact to me if like 99% of crypto projects died. Like there's zero impact to me.
You'd have shortable assets at least.
Yeah, very true. Like yeah, I mean I would go wild, but yeah, I mean like shorting is where my strengths are. So yeah, I would go wild.
Huh. Monero actually doesn't look bad on the three. I mean, it looks bad, but the daily volume today is decent. There's some heavy bullish divergences popping up. Actually, I probably wouldn't buy it though.
Where are you charting Monero?
This is on Binance.
Binance. Okay, against BTC.
Exactly.
Okay.
Check USD. USD, same thing. Heavy bullish divergence. A lot of volume today. It looks good.
I could actually make a case for long in this one, Binance.
USD pair?
BTC pair.
BTC pair.
Yeah, I think it's like, but I don't know. Like the previous like playouts of this divergence have been relatively weak, but this is a bit cleaner. But still, it looks pretty rough. Like I mean, like I'm on the daily on Ranko, and it just looks like trash.
The volume is fucking beautiful, though. That's why I would like. I don't. Do you even look at volume, or it's just pure candle? I think I asked you that last time, actually. If I want to say.
Yeah, well, like I'm a big fan of Wyckoff, and like Wyckoff is kind of all about volume. So I still class volume as an incredibly important indicator of what goes on. Like I never really understand why people remove something that is like can provide so much valuable information, especially when you're looking at something like a daily, or when you're trying to like confirm divergences or at least the presence of demand. Like I know that you can see that represented in a candle, but I think it's always nice to get like a barometer of what that looks like. So yeah, I'm a big fan of using volume.
Yay.
Man, talking about CBS, man, like CBS looks bullish, guys. I think I'm gonna enter some calls in tomorrow.
Have you just been sitting there chatting that?
Yeah, I've been looking at it. Then I was checking the call flow, and then it looks like a whole bunch of people like bought in CBS. That thing's like so bullish. So your name's like kind of bullish.
There it is. There it is. It was. I think it was Bagsy inviting me on for a second appearance. I think it was like people going wild for it.
So as long as like let's say I enter tomorrow, and then it goes to like my target of $40 by November. I'm looking at like 70%. I'd be happy. All right, Bitcoin's ready to go. 1 hour, looking even worse.
I'm gonna pull it up. Yeah, I don't see any bearish divergences on Ripple yet.
As long as Bitcoin's going down, it's gonna go up. Once Bitcoin is actually gonna go up, it'll go down.
Yeah, what's the price at right now? Hold up. Hold up. Yeah, it doesn't look great. I don't know, I have this open right now on Mex. Might have to readjust that actually. Yeah. I thought over here we were gonna make another leg down to retest this trend line. Yeah, after this stream I'm gonna remove that.
Remove what?
A bid I have. Hold up. Boys. I'm gonna eat some dinner in the next couple minutes. CBS, apart from your educational group, is there anything you'd like to say, add for the community?
I think I'm done with shilling. I think that yeah, like we've spoken about the educational group, and I don't really want to shill that either. Like Gucci. No, I think everything from my side was good. I think that like the only piece of advice that I would give, or the only like thought that I would pass on, is like I would really, really, really like people to stop trying to call the bottom on BTC. Like if you're actively like longing into this, like I would just be very careful with your positions, because like as I said, I think that I've always thought that we go deeper. I still think that we go deeper, and I just think that like right now in this downtrend, trying to catch bottoms is one way of just bleeding your balance. So I would just anybody who's looking to long, just wait till you get some decent confirmation.
Could you check CBS for me on Renko?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Actually, I'll have you check a couple before we leave.
Yeah, I'll ping you.
We'll make it stonks for the last 5 minutes.
I like it. Question: since most alts are correlated to the Bitcoin price, what about those that aren't affected to what BTC does in terms of price action?
Sorry, what was the question again? Can you repeat?
Since most alts are correlated to Bitcoin price, what about those that aren't as affected as to what Bitcoin does?
Dude, that is what Pierre talks about all the time. What's sensitive to Bitcoin and what's not, and that's what you trade. The stuff that trades positively or like stays strong when Bitcoin's in a downtrend, but then moves up aggressively when Bitcoin's going up after a dip. That's the stuff that you want to get into and figure out the scalp setups if you are trading that way, or even swings at certain important points.
And just like a super general rule, like it's not perfect, but it works pretty damn well. Is Huobi tokens? Sorry, not fuck. I'm addicted to it.
I'm on
Huobi
Seal right now.
Huobi is as an exchange. Like a lot of their alts just don't give any shits about BTC, like
Seal,
at
for
all.
example.
Yeah, exactly. Like Seal, like just goes nuts. Like there's so much stuff there that just once it hits a trend, like it gives no shits about BTC. So like if you're looking for alts that don't care about BTC, so you don't have like that chipping away in the back of your mind all the time, then I would highly recommend checking out Huobi.
And less liquidity means it's not going to be moving as like it would on Binance. So I think that helps too.
Yeah.
Take Link, for example, over the past year. Yeah, that's a good one. Chipotle.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah, Link didn't give a fuck about Bitcoin.
4-hour dip strong. Bullish. CBS. Makes sense. All right. We got another one. That's good.
Nice.
You just need that to be confirmed. So like it's not technically a confirmed divergence yet.
How would it be confirmed in this case when there's a crossover through the zero?
No, so like that's where we would like expect the divergence to be actively playing out. So right now, what you're looking for is like the way that the color scheme is really poor for seeing this, but you would essentially expect to see a second bar print of the gray color.
Okay.
So if you see down the bottom in the AO, like you're basically looking for a second bar of gray. So right now we've just got the black, so we're looking for a second bar of gray, and as soon as we get that divergence is essentially locked in. The reason for that is that awesome oscillator divergences tend to be far harder to reverse after a second print of the opposite color.
So it's a safer confirmation for entry.
Exactly, yeah, and that would be like textbook when we would consider the divergence to be confirmed. And then as we cross the zero line is where we would expect the divergence to be actively playing out, and then some sort of close at the other side.
Okay, let's get into something a little bit more aggressive. Okay, oh yeah, this one. Dust. I have like so many regrets on this one, but from what I'm taking is gold is probably gonna dip down one more nice leg because it got decimated today. Futures are getting wrecked, and I think regular markets are gonna bump up one more leg. But yeah, Dust is a really interesting one because it's a 3 times ETF. So when I do options trading on that, like moves on that are like a lot. So
yeah, this is like Dust is a really good example actually of like something that would be actively diverging with the awesome oscillator. So I've just pasted that across to you, but in relation to what we were just speaking about in terms of like confirmation, like this is now like
confirmed.
Yeah, this is actively locked in and like also very close to popping.
Oh man, everybody's target is $10 on this sucker.
I like those wicks as well.
So you can see here that like we've essentially just had this. What the awesome oscillator is representing is momentum. So essentially, what this is representing is that like bearish momentum is dying out at this level. That's like the easiest visual representation that I can give is that this is the bears either giving up, or this is like bulls coming back in to buy at this region. So once we get that flip, I would certainly expect us to pop up. And this is very similar, Bagsy, right now to the way XRP is looking, right? We've got a divergence, and we've started to have the divergence creeping towards the 0 line. But it's the fireworks begin when we cross, because that's where we see like what the strength is, the momentum for the bullish side. That's where we start to see that play out. So like we're not even at that point with XRP. We're still like divs confirmed. We're grinding our way towards the 0 line, and then it's that pop over is where we see like the firepower.
And lastly would be EEM would be this other one. This one's a little sketchy, but this one should do. I mean, technically, me personally, I'm leaning that like unless I get even more confirmation, I'm leaning toward just to be a short. But it's doing such a good job at this point, but I still am leaning short at this.
This is the weakest one. I've got nothing that could you back up a long position here. Like on a higher time frame that I'd look to be trading, like there's just nothing apart from trend continuation. I haven't sent you a link because it's pretty dull. Yeah, there's no fireworks for this one. Like the other two look far cleaner in terms of like divergence plays. Like they definitely look far cleaner.
Yeah, these are the sketchy ones. What about FXI? See, these are the ones that make the most money because they have like these weird sketchy odd gaps, and those gaps are like the most profitable.
Yeah, so FXI, nothing on 12-hour, 4-hour daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, an hourly even looks as though it wants to pull back slightly, but yeah, I mean like that. There was a bearish divergence at 45, and then we sold off from 45, so there was a bearish divergence there. Okay, I'll show you. I'll send that across as an example of the bearish side.
And lastly would be SIG. This is the most interesting one because it had extremely big amount of money flowed through this one. So I couldn't understand why so many people bought SIG at such an interesting point for all the way to April. Because it's been tanking for quite some time. So I'm wondering if it's finally ready to stop tanking in reverse. But it's a jeweler place, so...
Yeah, I could make a case for long in that on the divergence. The daily's there, like the daily actually has like a 2-bar confirmation. So the daily actually looks pretty clean. So you can see the bearish divergence there. You've got like those twin peaks on FXI. So you've got the twin peaks, which is a really nice bearish setup. Straight into the sell-off at 45, and then the SIG. I mean, yeah, I could make a case, but I mean, it's a vicious sell-off. Like, I'd also be very wary about standing in the way of that.
Yeah, somebody put a 1.4 million bet for a strike to 22.
Okay, well, there's a couple of divergences that have like this seems to div quite hard.
There's
Yeah.
a nice gap as well. 2 gaps.
Yeah, those gaps are... Yeah, I mean, well, see, I don't think the gaps fill, but the fact that he's aiming for 22 when we're sitting at 15 right now is unbelievable. Especially dropping 1.4 million on that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll send you the... I just sent you the link to this one with like the previous divergences on there, like both bearish and bullish.
Yeah,
Oh, look at that. That's so much more clear.
very cool.
So like there's some like pretty clear playouts in both sides of this.
Yeah, that recent top was a heavy divergence.
Yeah, really strong divergence into that top, like pure death up there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
And then like Bagsy, you can see the way that like that crossover is then when you start to see the power kick in. So like that's when like we really start to see, and like you can see after that sell off from the bearish divergence, like the momentum just kicks in fully to the bearish side.
Right. And heavy and
Yeah.
black.
Yeah, I really got to start using those divergences.
Yeah, I mean, like on a daily like this, for something like the markets that you're trading, like it will give you a really good idea to like what I'm essentially looking for, and it's exactly the same on Tick Renko when I'm scalping. Is I am looking for when the prevailing trend is dying. So I'm looking for when it's like it's reached its maximum, it's all spent, and that's kind of what you're seeing here on a daily time frame. So I'm looking for like the difficulty is of course technically what I'm doing is I'm always countering the trend because I'm taking a position that's counter trend, expecting it to be coming to a conclusion. But yeah, that's the approach.
Early entry before confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, early entry before confirmation, counter trend. Yeah, basically like on paper, the worst trader out there. Like I'm just making all the wrong decisions. Like I'm doing everything that's against the book.
Firms are like, how many times did you enter before confirmation? Sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the bottom part of this? The div? I don't understand your question, Tommy. Sorry.
So if you want to, if it's the oscillator, it's the awesome oscillator.
Oh,
If that's what you're after, Tommy.
Is that on TradingView or is it custom to you?
No, it's free on TradingView, and I just use it with default settings as well. There's nothing crazy about it. It's kind of just there, ready to go out of the box.
Straightforward.
Yeah, yeah, super clean.
I'll take a look at what it inputs. I wouldn't be surprised if it took something similar to my CCI.
I was about to say your CCI is presented like visually very similarly.
Very. Yeah. So I'll take a look at that. But hey man, I really appreciate both your time. I love you guys. Thank you.
It was really good, man. I always appreciate being here.
Yeah, and to everyone at home, thank you for watching tonight. I appreciate you guys. And
Thank you, everybody.
have a good night, boys.
Yeah, thank you, Shells, for everything, answering all my questions. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
Pleasure.
All right.
see you
Hope you
guys.
kick ass in the tourney.